Ladies and gentlemen, it is April 1st, 2021, and I'm not going to lie, I thought this was fake news coming in from the Hollywood Reporter until I realized that it wasn't. So I have to ask the simple question, is the Hamadaverse over, and will the Snyderverse be restored? Oh my God. Today is definitely taking an interesting turn, especially considering yesterday I was posing the question if Warner Brothers is even remotely listening to the fans demanding to restore the Snyderverse. Yesterday, Joe Manganiello and Subway came out with the hashtags. Other people, other blue check marks have come out with the hashtags. And of course, today, the most fake news day there is, the day I, as a movie pundit on the internet, dread, we get this little bitty from the Hollywood Reporter. And this is coming in from Aaron Couch and Boris Kitt. This is not fake news. This is not a drill. This is real. Ava DuVernay's New Gods, James Wan's The Trench, DC movies not moving forward at Warner Brothers. This is big news, guys. Because for one, The Trench, I mean, whoever cared about The Trench? I want to be real. Okay, I loved Aquaman. I love James Wan as a director and a creative. I think he's brilliant, and I would watch the hell out of that movie because he was attached to it. But at the same time, that was the first thing that was announced from Hamada taking over in early 2018. It was like, well, you know what? We're going to do this horror movie. we're gonna do this horror movie called The Trench based upon a 2.5-minute scene from Aquaman. That sounds like fun. And everyone else is like, Snyder Cut? No, The Trench. Wait, what? Huh? But of course, it made sense. Hamada coming over from the Conjuring universe, being an executive producer over there with New Line, building that up to $1 billion franchise. That's why they brought him on. So why not go back to his roots? Why not go back to horror? That, of course, is exactly what they brought him on to do, and to be cost effective, because the guy that's the whole point. They brought him on in order to kind of wrangle in these budgets. That's why they brought him on. Similar to the reason why Sony brought in Tom Rothman back in 2016 when Amy Pascal left after the Sony hack. The reason why was because, he can wrangle in budgets. That's the whole point. They needed a fiscal conservative. And that's basically what Hamada is. Hamada is the fiscal conservative for that wing of Warner Brothers. But Ava DuVernay's The New Gods was announced in 2018 as well. That was announced a little bit later, and then not long after that, you had Marvel's The Eternals get announced. And once again, it kind of felt like, Feige was a little bit undercutting DC, a little bit. But hey, The Eternals has been shot. It's been edited. It's been filmed. It's been finished. And it's currently going to come out this November after also being delayed. Whereas The New Gods was on its 5th script rewrite. It was never going to happen. And that's basically what the article says. The executives at the studio, they thought, well, these movies don't have a place in the current lineup of the DC films, the upcoming DC films. So we don't want to hold on to these filmmakers anymore. And we're just going to let them go. And we're going to kill these projects. These were the first 2 Hamada announcements. These were his first 2 decrees coming in, and they're dead. They're dead. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about the state of the Hamadaverse? It's not going well. It's not going well at all. Now, Ava did respond, and you can tell there's some tone in this. And hey, look, it's rightfully there. She says, Tom, I loved writing New Gods with you. I'm upset that the saga of Barda, Scott, Granny, Highfather, and the Furies ends this way. Diving into Kirby's fourth world was the adventure of a lifetime that can't be taken away. Thank you for your friendship, and remember, dark side is. Now, that gives us a bit of insight into where the script was going at the time, and people were curious if Granny Goodness and the Furies were going to be involved, considering Granny Goodness popping up in the Snyder Cut. But we never got any information really out of the New Gods. In fact, it just kind of felt like a side project that they were working on when they had the time. It's been literally 3 years. They should have had a completed script. If anything, something to start shooting with and then to refine as they go on. That happens all the time. Clearly, this project never had the faith of DC. It was simply announced as a way to move past the Snyder Cut. It was of Justice League. It was all done as a way to just move past it. But as we've seen with Warner Brothers over the years, they cannot handle DC movies for some reason. For some reason, they cannot handle DC films to save their damn life. So right now, where are they at? What do they got? You got Shazam going to start filming here. Flash and Black Adam both start filming next month. Aquaman 2, I believe, starts filming this summer. And that's a cool lineup of things. Got the Batman just wrapped up filming. That's coming out next year. Cool lineup of things. All right, cool. But what does this really mean? Okay, let's read between the lines a little bit here. Let's take a quick step back and look at the grand picture. Now, I've been a little bit on the apprehensive side of believing that the Snyder universe will continue. Despite my supporting of it, I'm a pragmatic individual. The fact that they haven't said anything just yet gave me a little bit of worry, but I realized that April 22nd is going to be the investors meeting. That's when we're going to get the numbers. But the fact that Warner Brothers in and of itself, DC Films, HBO Max, Jason Kilar, and Sarnoff, AT&T, all of these people have been holding off on the numbers. They haven't given you any information, but they talked about Wonder Woman 84 in the first 3 days. They talked about another show they just had on HBO Max that did really well. I think over the course of a week, they were able to give you that information through Nielsen ratings. And we're still waiting on those to come in for the Snyder Cut. Samba TV has given us an idea with 2.2 million households that had opted in and had a TV that was available to record this particular data. So that's not everybody. You know, I mean, the amount of people from around the world that are talking about this, the amount of data we have seen, which I brought up yesterday in a video here, where you see 1.8 million US households have watched the film in the first 5 minutes. There is a 64% increase in HBO Max ad. Well, it tells you flat out, point blank, that there is definitely something that is going on with this stuff right now, that there is movement happening behind the scenes. I don't see any other reason why they would cancel these two projects. These, I don't want to say hotly anticipated, but these projects nonetheless. The New Gods was one that would be hotly anticipated, especially to go up against Marvel's The Eternals. And we all know that DC wants to compete with Marvel, so why not run with it? But it's clear that the current people behind that, the production team behind that, have not been able to bring anything of value to the table. So it made sense to kill it. Or it could be that the demand for Zack Snyder's universe is so high that they are simply now realizing that they cannot ignore it. Now, what I've been told from Mikey Sutton, I'll say this, is that Hamada's furious. That's what he's told me. But he's going to get more information tonight. And that they thought that the Snyder Cut would just be a one-off thing, that the social media response to it was a fluke. It was unexpected. It wasn't unexpected. They just were never really paying attention to it because of the way the enthusiast media was always attacking the fan base. I mean, even look at the article coming out from the Hollywood Reporter trying to claim that Snyder Cut fans and Star Wars fans, the toxic side, are the same. They're not the same. They have overlapping elements, but they're ultimately a completely different part of the Venn diagram. But none of that matters because they don't want to talk about the good that the Snyder Cut fans have done. They want to just talk about the meanies, the very few meanies. You know, look at all the articles that were like, well, Snyder Cut fans are attacking the Godzilla v. Kong, you know, IMDb, but they're spamming it. It was like 25 to 37 people out of hundreds of reviews. Minute numbers, but that gets spun in the headlines, that gets spun in the tabloids, that gets spun in the tabloid media, the movie tabloid media, 100%. So what does this tell you? Well, this tells you that there's something happening. And I thought today there would be nothing. Heroic Hollywood put out some article, you know, Warner Brothers signs Henry Cavill, the tumor, you know, like whatever. Like that's the lowest hanging fruit that one could do right now. It's not even a good one, but it goes to show you the caliber you get out of Heroic Hollywood. You know, nonsense, terrible nonsense. It's a garbage website. But aside from that, I was wondering if we were going to get any, like, you know, announcements today somewhat concerning Snyder that would come across as realistic. And when I got the message about this movie, I was watching Kong Skull Island, and I thought that it was fake at first until I actually read it on Hollywood Reporter and I read the article. So this is real. This is real. It appears that Hamada has just been cut off at the knees. And here's the thing. It would be his boss that would have done it. Because Toby Emmerich currently holds the green light power for Warner Brothers Pictures and Warner Brothers Studios that makes films for HBO Max. He holds sole greenlight power right now. So something tells me that the winds are a-changing. I don't want to sit there and get all excited. I'm not ready to pop the Viagra just yet, but I'm sitting there going like, something about this is telling you that come April 22nd with the investors meeting, I think we're going to get something very pleasing or something downright terrible. At this point, it's quite literally either or, but I'm leaning more towards the sign of good. This is crazy news. This is crazy news, but it's real. And that is mind-blowing and amazing. And as always, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. Let me know down in the comment section. I will talk to you guys all later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you again, and peace.